EV mandate review. Prime Minister Carney's plans for the sector. Union leaders worried, dealers relieved, and a local analyst weighs in on the impact.
Probably the worst kept secret in Windsor here about the new Costco location.
An update on the excitement of the retail giant's plans for East Windsor. And whiff lineup released.
You tend to choose people because they worship you.
The first 10 flicks revealed for this year's festival.
CTV News with Stephanie Mazzotti.
Good evening and thank you for joining us on TV and radio. Stephanie is off. I'm Michelle Maluske. We begin with a big announcement in Ottawa that could have a huge impact on Windsor, Essex. Prime Minister Mark Carney rolled out a sweeping economic plan today, unveiling a $5 billion strategic fund, new supports for farmers, and a bold Buy Canada policy. CTV's Abigail Bimman reports.
We will build big, build bold, build Canadian.
Touring a plant in the Greater Toronto area, the Prime Minister laid out Ottawa's plans to help Canadian industries in the face of a trade war, including help for those impacted by tariffs with a new $5 billion fund and specific help for the canola sector, hard hit by Chinese tariffs last month.
What will be important here is to see how the federal government and provincial governments work with the business community to really identify what those needs are, support them, and work closely with labor organizations and the workers themselves.
And the Prime Minister is pausing the 2026 electric vehicle target while reviewing the overall mandate.
He's finally admitted that the Conservatives were right, just like we were right on the carbon tax. But he's doing a clumsy retreat, saying that he's going to delay this mandate.
Mark Carney also promising more federal action for the Buy Canadian movement.
The government's introducing a new comprehensive Buy Canadian policy that will move from best efforts to Buy Canadian to a clear obligation to do so.
No word on what that means for the deal to buy American F-35 fighter jets, still under review by the government, while a new climate competitiveness strategy was announced as coming soon.
I'm glad to hear that we are finally hearing a little bit about climate change from the new Prime Minister, who has been, eerily silent on this issue.
In addition to a new climate strategy, the Prime Minister also promised a new defense strategy to support defense spending he described as, quote, enormous, and all this against the backdrop of a looming fall budget to explain how all the investment and austerity will be balanced. Abigail Beeman, CTV News, Ottawa.
For us here in Windsor, Essex, our focus tonight is on the decision to shift direction on electric vehicles. The pause is being applauded by much of the auto industry, a move it has been demanding for months. Bob Belichico reports.
I'm happy to see that common sense has prevailed.
Wes Thrasher, sales manager at Riom Chevrolet Buick GMC in LaSalle, is a car guy who supports the EV movement but feels the mandates were a bit aggressive considering the volatility between the U.S. and Canada.
I think there is some relief, again, because when the rebates were available to customers, a lot of the people that could see themselves in an EV or taking on that lifestyle did.
The $5,000 incentive at the federal level ended in early 2025, and sales fell off a cliff.
According to Greg Layson, editor for the Automotive News Canada, two things were revealed. One, incentives are still needed for people to buy electric vehicles, and two, the goal of having 20% electric sales by 2026 is out of reach. I don't have an EV, but the people I know that have one love their vehicles because, one, you don't have to stop off at a gas station, they're quiet, low maintenance, and no oil changes.
When this vehicle I have now, which is only 6 years old, finds its expiry date, maybe 3 or 4 years, an EV will be an automatic.
EV itself is not viable, in my opinion, for the next 5 to 10 years.
Which leaves many wondering about the battery plant. Layson feels it was always going to be a slow, long road to electrification.
I would say this. There's not an automaker on earth that's going to spend $5 to $7 billion on a battery plant if it doesn't intend to build batteries at some point in the future.
Generally speaking, there was some optimistic things the Prime Minister said today.
James Stewart, president of Unifor Local 444, is optimistic and says the Prime Minister made some important announcements, but there's still a lot of details missing. Stewart feels the pause shouldn't be a long one, as it's important for Canada to continue developing EV technology and supporting the sector.
Long term, we are going to get outpaced and already are getting outpaced by the likes of China, who are finding ways to really develop their EV technology and lowering the cost. Canada has to do the same thing long term. EVs are coming.
Bob Belichico, CTV News.
Meantime, Essex County Council is taking action to support local businesses amid the current economic uncertainty. Council voted to apply for funding through Ontario's recently announced $40 million grant program. The goal? To help local companies find new customers or diversify their operations. Options on the table include transforming the region into a diverse manufacturing hub, focusing on sectors like defense, aerospace, or clean technologies. This fund was created this past May to boost economic growth and help communities adapt to changing market conditions. The Ontario government is rewarding the municipality of Chatham-Kent for exceeding its housing goals with a $440,000 boost to help build even more homes. Chatham-Kent broke ground on 311 new homes this year, hitting 338% of its 2024 housing target. That is way above the 80% needed to qualify for funding from Ontario's Building Faster Fund. That money will go towards building more homes and community infrastructure. The fund, which was launched last year, is a $1.2 billion, three-year program that rewards municipalities that speed up housing approvals and build more homes, helping to tackle Ontario's housing crunch. 6 more sexual assault charges have been laid against a Windsor mental health and addictions counselor. 66-year-old Tim Baxter was first charged in July in connection with alleged sexual assaults of patients under his care. The new charges stem from additional incidents reported to police. The total number of alleged victims is now 8. The alleged offenses occurred between 2024 and 2025, and police believe there may be more people who have not yet come forward. Anyone with information is urged to contact Windsor Police or make an anonymous tip to Crime Stoppers. A Windsor police officer will not have his sexual assault acquittal appealed. Staff Sergeant Ken Price was found not guilty of 4 counts of sexual assault this past July. The judge said she believed it was, quote, highly likely Price harassed the female complainant, but found him not guilty of criminal charges of assault. Tonight, CTV News has confirmed the Ministry of the Attorney General will not be appealing Justice Jennifer Meyer's decision. CTV meteorologist Gary Archibald joins me in studio tonight because of that high wind out there. Hi, Gary.
Hello, Michelle. You're right about that. The winds exceeding 70 kilometers per hour in some areas of southwestern Ontario. Outside today, getting a shot of some of the bushes and obviously the leaves getting ripped off some of the trees, indicative of the fall season. We're still in late summer. And we'll get more of the same tonight with this special weather statement in play and this well-defined cold front that's sweeping across the lower Great Lakes. There's good news, though. In behind that front, although coolish tonight into tomorrow morning, we'll see some sunshine. I think it could be an elongated trend of fair weather. I'll break down what you need to know just ahead. For now, I'll send it back to you at the desk.
All right, thanks so much, Gary. We'll check in again soon. Environment Canada says it was one of the driest Augusts on record, yet Essex County crops are looking good. That's according to Leo Gilbo, president of the Essex County Federation of Agriculture. He says the wheat crop back in July was solid, and walking local fields, he predicts the yields look to be good for corn and soybeans, those still to be harvested. However, Guibo and farmers like him are keeping a close eye on the markets and hoping things turn around for commodity prices.
We've got some of the lowest commodity prices we've had in the last 5 years right now. So we're heading into this crop with low prices, but on the bright side, looks like the bushels will be there as far as a bumper crop. So you got to take the good with the bad.
Shoppers in Windsor are one step closer to having a second Costco to choose from. CTV's Chris Campbell is in the newsroom with more on when residents could be rolling their carts through those doors. Chris.
Yes, Michelle, excitement is building both literally and figuratively on the city's east side. The developer says site work is about 50% complete and momentum is strong for a project that's been years in the making. The heavy machinery is rolling on the city's east side, where the site for Windsor's second Costco is taking shape.
I think if we were any other municipality, we'd still be trying to finalize all these approvals, but the city really provided all the support we needed to get it done in probably half the time.
Rock Development's president and CEO, Rocco Tullio, says his crews are aiming to have the site serviced and ready for Costco to take over construction by December 15th, telling CTV News the hope is to have the new store open sometime in 2026.
We're prepping the site, their pad, and providing services to their lot line, and then they come in. I think they're going to try to start this year, some of the works, and then restart that back up. They want to be open sometime in 2026. They haven't finalized the date.
Probably the worst kept secret in Windsor here about the new Costco location.
Windsor City Councillor Gary Kashak says residents in his ward have been asking for this for years. He is pleased to see things come together quickly.
Certainly real good help from our administration staff. David Simpson and all his group really did a lot of work behind the scenes for us. Of course, the politicians got involved and wanted this to happen and made it a collaborative effort for sure.
That's good.
Yay.
Yay.
Residents we spoke with are already looking forward to the new location behind the Home Depot on Tecumseh Road East.
Yeah, we like it better than the other one, closer.
Yeah, it could be closer.
It's great that this is going to be put here. It'll certainly increase values in the area, definitely.
We need it. Windsor's a growing city.
The $130 million project is expected to bring hundreds of construction and retail jobs, and officials say it's a sign of continued growth in Windsor's East End.
They're a great organization to work with. They're very meticulous and they're very detailed. So this is the first one we've worked with them on, but hopefully many more coming down the road with them also in other municipalities.
Now, Costco hasn't officially confirmed the second location yet on its own website, which is usually how the company makes store announcements. But Rock Development says progress is moving quickly. Rocco Tullio tells me he's confident Windsor will see doors open here in 2026.
All right, thanks so much for that update. Chris Campbell reporting tonight in the newsroom. Meantime, it's now been a full year since you could walk into an Ontario convenience store and buy a beer. So we felt it was time for an update. CTV's Travis Fortnum taking a look at that for us tonight. Travis, what have you got for us? What's the answer?
Yeah, convenience store owners say that in the year that's been an otherwise tough year, this has been a saving grace. Now, the boost has come at the expense of beer stores. For the past year, Terry Aldo has been stocking his convenience store with beer, wine, and ready-to-drink cocktails.
It was great to see it implemented, and it couldn't happen at the more perfect time.
Ontario greenlit alcohol sales at convenience stores September 5th of last year, earlier than expected, a move store owners like Yaldo had long pushed for, and one he says has kept some stores afloat.
Without having that alcohol in the picture, my big belief is 10% of businesses across Ontario would have closed down.
Critics warned the change could mean more underage access, but Yaldo says that hasn't been the case.
I have not had one person under the age of 19 try to buy alcohol from us in the last year, which I'm personally shocked.
The biggest impact seems to have been on beer stores, with more than 100 closings since the expansion, including 2 in Windsor. The union representing workers says jobs are on the line.
People are anxious, like, am I next? Is my store next?
Come January 1st, the province will require grocery stores bigger than 4,000 square feet to accept empties if they want to keep selling alcohol. Union President John Knox says that could drive even more customers away from beer stores.
This place has been around almost 100 years. It has given amazing livelihoods. And, unfortunately, who knows what 2026 brings. Is that going to be ended?
Some major grocers have already said they'd rather give up their license than take empties. And Yaldo says he hopes convenience stores never face that requirement.
It's really hard for us to do it. We don't have the space, they're logistical.
Now, on the note of beer store closures, Yaldo says it's just business, though he does feel for those losing their jobs. Michelle.
And it would be, very tense and nerve-wracking when you don't know, is your beer store going to be the next on that list?
Yeah, I mean, we've seen 2 close here in Windsor so far, and who knows?
And we don't know if it's done.
No.
So, all right. Well, thank you for that update. I appreciate it. Travis Fortnum reporting for us tonight in the newsroom. And of course, it is our question of the day. Have you bought alcohol from a convenience store in the past year? Go to our website to cast your vote, ctvnewswindsor.ca. Yesterday, we asked if municipalities should help businesses impacted by road construction. Just shy of 600 people voted. 70% of them say yes.
The system's broken.
Outrage over a 12-year-old shooting suspect's criminal past. That story is still ahead on Windsor's News Leader. No fires to fight, but still turning up the heat. Later, why these Windsor firefighters are cooking with heart. And a local hospital cuts bed wait times by hours by implementing 3 new programs without asking for more funding. That story is Monday at 6 on CTV News. The family of an Ontario man allegedly shot by a 12-year-old says the last few weeks have been a nightmare. Not only do they have to come to grips with the nature of the violent crime, but also the fact the child suspect was released on bail not once, but twice. CTV's Adrian Gobriel spoke to the uncle of the victim.
With a black hood pulled over their face, wearing white gloves, gun drawn, this security video shows an individual crossing the road and then crouching down as they move closer to their target for the surprise attack. Police have arrested a 12-year-old boy.
How difficult is that for you, your nephew, your family to come to terms with?
It was quite disturbing for all of us because we all have, I have young kids.
Junad Razvi has asked that we not show his face because the young boy who police allege shot his 30-year-old nephew is now out on bail.
As you can imagine, that is something to be quite fearful about, something to be highly concerned about.
CTV News has learned that the alleged child shooter, now charged with attempted murder and discharging a firearm with intent, was already out on bail at the time of this shooting.
That's exactly what makes it so disturbing and shocking.
That's why we are, once again, appealing for reform to the bail system. This is not about politics. It's about safety. The system's broken.
Following this and other shocking acts of violence, Prime Minister Mark Carney announcing today that bail reform legislation will be tabled in the coming weeks.
Can it come soon enough for you and your family?
This is something that can't wait months. This needs to be done ASAP.
Following this shooting, the victim managed to reverse out of the driveway and flee the scene as the gunman and getaway vehicle gave chase. Adrian Gobriel, CTV News.
A search for answers is underway at a Manitoba First Nation after a mass stabbing. The RCMP are calling it a senseless act of violence. An 18-year-old woman is dead, allegedly killed by her brother.
And my prayers goes to the people that are in the hospital right now, recovering. Now, and I'll ask the community to continue to pray for them.
Police say 8 people were found severely injured yesterday in 2 homes on Hollow Water First Nation northeast of Winnipeg. The suspect has been identified by police as a 26-year-old Tyrone Samard. He died after the stolen vehicle he was driving collided with a police cruiser. In Portugal, officials have confirmed 2 Canadians, a married couple, are among the people killed in this week's deadly streetcar derailment in Lisbon. Flowers, candles, and balloons line a sidewalk close to the crash site in silent tribute to the victims of Wednesday's crash. The wreckage has been removed as a multi-agency investigation continues. The Canadians have been identified as André Bergeron and his wife Bladine Doe from Quebec. Bergeron's brother says the couple was on the last day of a birthday trip when the tragedy happened. Back here in Ontario, uncertainty is looming in Oshawa at the General Motors assembly plant. As CTV's Beth McDonnell reports, there's word there could be layoffs on the horizon.
Unifor says the possible number of layoffs could be 700 general labor employees and up to 1,500 workers through the auto sector supply chain. I'm going to explain. The union says TFT is a subcontractor that works inside the Oshawa plant. More than 800 workers who do line side delivery and general labor on parts before they hit the line could be affected, part because of their numbers. They must be given a heads up before any permanent reduction. So in July, the company issued a 12-week notice. That could mean layoffs as of September 26th. And back in May, it was announced the GM plant would go from 3 shifts to 2 shifts. But the union says that third shift says that is still working. And the union says that TFT may want their workers around for a time, creating layoff speculation.
But TFT, the company, has the ability to extend that date if the third shift is still working. So there's been no indication from General Motors that there'll be an earlier date other than the November timeframe which they previously stated.
The union says anytime there are layoffs, there is a ripple effect through the supply chain and will be working hard to fight any layoffs. It is hoping that the Prime Minister can land a deal with the U.S. so the auto sector is treated fairly. Beth McDonnell, CTV News.
The average cost of a 4-year post-secondary education in Canada is pegged at just over $100,000, and that price will continue to climb. As CTV's Stephanie Seco shows us, that has parents concerned about their children's academic aspirations.
University is not cheap, and the cost is only going to keep climbing, which has this parent considering other options for her children.
As time has kind of evolved, I think that we're leaning more towards trades and entrepreneurship. I feel like post-secondary education, does the cost and the value of the degree, do they equate the like they used to? Like even for ourselves, we only just finished paying off our student loans a few years ago.
According to a recent survey by Embark, a company specializing in education savings, more than half of Canadian parents say they won't be able to afford the rising costs.
One of the things that we also discovered is the current geopolitical landscape had made parents very conservative about starting, for example, a savings account for post-secondary education. We call that the RESP.
Embark projects by 2042, the average cost of a 4-year university education could go up by 36% in Canada when you factor in tuition, housing, food, and other expenses. Embark's data shows the national average would be around $137,000. It's even higher in Nova Scotia, where the overall cost is pegged around $170,000. That's up almost 48% compared to 2025. In New Brunswick, the cost is forecast to hit $161,000, up by 44%. And on Prince Edward Island, it's expected to cost more than $139,000, up 38%. Embark says it's never too late to start saving.
It's going to make a big difference for their post-secondary education. And you can save as little as, $5 a week, $10 a month, etc. And start building as you can afford or feel comfortable.
Stephanie Seco, CTV News, Halifax.
Strength in the basic materials sector helped Canada's main stock index finish higher. In Toronto, the TSX gained 135 points, and in New York, the Dow fell to 20, while the Nasdaq dropped 7. The Canadian dollar was unchanged today, and on commodity markets, gold gained more than $46 an ounce. Oil fell $161 a barrel. 700 shoes, one sole mission. Coming up, who's stepping up to help those in need?
Let's look at our CTV News weather snapshot. Thanks to Brandon Ellis for this lovely sunset image. Just ahead, will sunshine, cool but comfortable conditions be in store for the weekend and beyond? My weather forecast has the answers next on CTV News Windsor.
A blustery, albeit warm and sunny day out there. Meteorologist Gary Archibald joins me now with our full look at the weather.
Special statement, weather statement, if you will. It's like a warning of a particular weather event. The winds, Michelle, as you correctly point out, very strong, blanketing much of southern Ontario, but where it counts for us in extreme southwestern parts of the province, we're looking at gusts in that 65 to 70, even 75 plus range across Lake St. Clair and certainly Lake Erie shores. We're still windy through to perhaps 9-10 p.m. And it was a warm, comfortable day. It was just very windy, a mixture of sun and cloud, fair weather cloud to boot. Nice combination, not the best day for golf, just simply because of the strong winds. Reached a high near 23, our average high is closer to 24. The air quality was in the lower portion of the AQI index. From 1 to 10, the lower the number, the better. And we were at a 3. That's considered low, so we'll take it. 22 degrees at the airport in Windsor. That's 72 degrees Fahrenheit for those who certainly care about that scale too, no doubt. Chatham-Kent, similar statistics as well. By the way, speaking of statistics, it has been very cold in parts of our province to the northwest. Far away places like, Thunder Bay, Kenora, Dryden, Lake of the Woods. 10 degrees, and we might only get to about 11 today altogether in Thunder Bay. That's indicative of the cooler air in place that has brought our temperatures down. We aren't going down that much, but there it is. The winds are of the southwest, which have kept things relatively mild through the afternoon and into now the early stretch of the evening. But the wind gusts, although somewhat abating, they will be in the 40, maybe even 50 kilometer range through to at least 8-9 p.m. Scattered showers to the north and east of us, gracing the Lake Huron shores, moving through Georgian Bay. The good news is if we see cloud cover at all over the next 24 hours, it's of the fair weather variety. We are clearing through 8 o'clock, still breezy, but the wind's dying down. And the good news is there's some sunshine continuing for the weekend. The average temperature over the next 7 days is 23.7. We'll take it. Sunny Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, we're still looking at temperatures in the low, maybe even mid-20s. It is going to be a dry but pleasant next 7 days.
Lifetime, brought to you by Safeguard Medical Alert Systems.
Scientists at McMaster University are celebrating what they're calling a potentially groundbreaking discovery. They hope it will lead to fewer complications associated with a common blood thinner. We get the details tonight from CTV's health reporter Pauline Chan.
Heparin is a blood thinner used during all kinds of major surgery, such as cardiac or hip surgery.
The disorder we're working on is called the heparin-induced thrombocytopenia, or HIT. It's one of the most high-stakes complications that doctors face when treating patients with heparin. Although heparin-induced thrombocytopenia is rare overall, it isn't uncommon in hospitals because the number of patients that actually receive it. So doctors see often enough that they always have to be on alert.
In addition, there is a danger in misdiagnosis.
The challenge with this is that if the diagnosis is missed, patients can develop life-threatening clots. So while you're giving heparin as a blood thinner to prevent clots, it actually causes the clotting. On the other hand, if you misdiagnose the patients, you stop the use of heparin unnecessarily and switch to other blood thinners.
And those alternatives may increase the risk of bleeding during surgery.
Heparin-induced thrombocytopenia causes strokes, heart attacks, various different types of clots, leading to potentially amputation and even death.
In those few cases, clots form as part of an immune response to the heparin. And Professor Isaac Nazi says the body produces scores of different antibodies.
And the misconception was you produce many forms of these antibodies against it. However, what we discovered, and the reason we were able to make this discovery now, is because we have way more sensitive tools. So what we discovered is there's actually one single antibody, which we normally call a monoclonal antibody, that causes the disease. So this is a fundamental shift in our understanding of the disease. It means now we can design tests that can focus on the true culprit, making the diagnosis faster and more reliable.
Nazi hopes the development of a Canadian test will provide medical benefits for patients around the world, as well as economic benefits here at home. Pauline Chan, CTV News.
Now to an incredible story out of Cornwall. 2 A&W workers are being credited with saving a customer's life after she was stung by a wasp. As CTV's Tyler Fleming reports, their quick thinking has now renewed calls for EpiPens to be placed in public spaces.
Amy, I'm glad that we were there for that customer.
That customer, an 81-year-old woman, a regular at Cornwall's A&W, often seen by staff members Amy Boyer and Patricia Harrison.
Her and her friend, they love to eat at A&W. It's like their little adventure out.
But last week, a nightmare unfolded.
All of a sudden, one of the employees walked up to me and said, Amy, you need to call 911. Somebody's been stung by a wasp. They're allergic to them and they don't have their EpiPen.
She went into anaphylactic shock, a severe allergic reaction which can quickly become life-threatening.
Her whole face had swelled up in a matter of seconds.
An ambulance was coming, but her symptoms got worse.
She was starting to go colorless.
My husband's deadly allergic. I'm like, what would I do if this was me?
Thinking fast, Patricia called the Walmart pharmacy just steps away. Their staff responded immediately, rushing over a treatment that could make all the difference.
EpiPens and epinephrine are the only thing that will rescue them.
A handheld device delivering a quick shot to treat the reaction. And with allergies on the rise,
70% of adults don't carry their EpiPen, and it's terrifying.
The Canadian Anaphylaxis Initiative wants EpiPens readily available in restaurants, malls, and community centers in public spaces like defibrillators.
When he had the EpiPen in his hand and he kind of had it up like this, it was like, oh.
The treatment arrived from Walmart, handed off and injected.
Seconds of having the EpiPen, things started to come back to normal.
The woman taken to hospital by ambulance.
I cried. I definitely cried.
We had our team here, and we're a good team, and Walmart stepped up, and so did the paramedics.
I'm really happy that everything turned out the way it did, and she's okay.
Tyler Fleming, CTV News, Cornwall.
A local philanthropist made a huge donation to the Hub of Opportunities this morning. Windsor businessman and community leader Sam Sinjari donated 700 pairs of brand new unisex service and industry work shoes. Social workers say this will give those in need the chance to step into opportunities with dignity, safety, and confidence. The shoes are durable slip-ons with slip-resistant soles in men's and women's sizes 6 through 13. They're designed for the hospitality, retail, healthcare, and food service industries. Sinjari says the shoes were sourced locally through Border City Wholesale and Supply, thus supporting Windsor's economy while meeting a community need.
I'm really grateful that an organization like this and others in our community, whether it's the Downtown Mission, Hands in Hand Support, and UAC that supports so many other organizations, have programs where they will make sure these shoes go to the right people.
Hey, we just got home, and you would not believe
WIF just dropped its first 10 films. Coming up on Windsor's news leader, what's coming to the big screens in Windsor next month. Organizers of the Windsor International Film Festival are giving movie lovers their first look at this year's lineup.
You tend to choose people because they worship you, not because of any actual merit on their part.
Maggie is brilliant.
Is she?
That's just a snippet of After the Hunt, one of 10 major films just announced for the 2025 festival, starring Julia Roberts, Andrew Garfield, and Ayo Edebiri. It will also be the closing feature. Mile End Kicks by a Canadian filmmaker, Chandler Levac, is the opening film. The centerpiece film, we're told, is Tornado, which uses the famed opera as a backdrop to explore issues like war, the refugee crisis, and the pandemic. 10 more selections will be announced in the coming days before officials release the entire WIF lineup later this month.
It was a big first day in sales, no question around it. We did really, really well, especially the titles that were moving the fastest. The closing film After the Hunt, for sure. People were also jumping in on the new Jodie Foster film, Private Life. That was selling really well yesterday. New Scarlett Johansson movie that we're showing called My Mother's Wedding. That was selling really well yesterday. So lots of good ones there. And then we've got 10 more films being announced next week that'll go for sale. And then the week after, we unveil everything.
Welcome back to Get Gardening. I'm Kate Otterbein. We are here with horticulturalist Sandy McDonald. Today we are talking about volunteer plants. What do you have for us information-wise?
What is this topic of volunteer plants? Freebies for the gardener. Everybody likes something that's free, and sometimes we're a little bit overzealous in the garden when we're doing our weeding. Sometimes nature drops seeds in the garden, and these can be valuable landscape plants for us. So one of our examples today was actually redbud, and this is an early spring flowering tree with these heart-shaped leaves. It's of course not in bloom at this time, but it has these small, beautiful pinkish purple flowers all along the stem before the leaves even come out. It's a really beautiful landscape plant. And another one that we noticed a little bit towards the back here is this purple-leafed plant, which is actually a purple-leaf plum. And the purple leaf plum is another lawn tree, and obviously this has probably been dropped here by the birds in their droppings, and a couple good-sized seedlings are there, can easily be moved into the garden. And to the side here too, we actually have an example of the purple leaf plum tree, and this is probably the mom. This is probably the mother where the seeds probably came from, so that would give you an idea of something you could have on the lawn for free. So also we mentioned there are some flowering plants that can be volunteers as well. The gardeners didn't put them in here. They planted probably this beautiful lantana, but from last year's seeds come these beautiful petunias. And we've got several different colors along the way here, and this is kind of the way our grandmothers and great-grandmothers got their petunias as well. They just allowed them to self-seed, and whatever colors and types came up were the ones that did. And again, still beautiful, probably ideally adapted to the location and our climate, so those volunteers are most welcome in the garden as well.
Thank you so much. Horticulturalist Sandy McDonald here with Get Gardening. Remember, don't get rid of those freebies. They might help you out.
Absolutely.
If you have any topics or would like us to come visit your garden, you can send us a text at 10400.
And if you have a story idea to share, we also want to hear from you. Text us at 10400. You can also send supporting photos or video.
X marks the spot where it all began. 89X is back. Windsor's alternative. 89X.
This is your CTV Windsor, our community calendar. From now until September the 30th, join the hospice as we kick off the 23rd annual face-to-face campaign in support of the Fairly Family Transportation Program. See you next time on Our Community.
And it's time to check in now on what's happening now with Melanie Kentner. Melanie, you have more on how the Canadian economy is feeling the impact of Trump's tariffs.
That's right. The job numbers for the month of August are out, and Canada shed tens of thousands of jobs. For the unemployment rate in Windsor remains the highest in the country. Stats Canada says the rate in Windsor increased nearly 1% to 11.1 in August. That's up from 10.2 the previous month. On a national level, the unemployment rate increased to 7.1% in August as the country shed 66,000 jobs. The biggest losses were seen in transportation and manufacturing. We've got the full breakdown on the numbers at ctvnewswindsor.ca.
And we've also got a story online with Chatham-Kent Police asking for some help, Melanie.
Yeah, it's part of a gas theft investigation in Tilbury. Police say a man with a blue Ford Ranger was seen getting gas and left without trying to pay. The incident took place on Monday around 7 a.m. at the Esso gas station at Queen's Line. There are some distinctive markings on the truck. You can find that description on our website. And in our social spotlight, this takes high diving to a new level. These brave divers are jumping off the famous Star Most Bridge in Bosnia. It's part of the Red Bull cliff diving series. They've completed their first round of dives ahead of the finals on Saturday. Australia is leading the way in the women's series, with France topping the men's side.
Melanie, you can add this to the list of things I would never attempt to do. It just looks too scary.
I know, it's absolutely frightening, but good for them.
Yeah, that's one of those, good for you, we'll just watch the video. All right, thank you so much, Melanie. That's what's happening now. And if you want to submit a video for our trending segment, email it to newsnow@bellmedia.ca. Windsor fire chiefs are cooking up more than just meals in this kitchen. They're dishing out kindness when we return their heartwarming mission.
The latest news to start your day.
Interviews, conversations with the top officials, the difference makers, and personalities in Windsor, Essex.
Only on Windsor, Essex #1 morning show.
It's Mornings with Mike and Meg on AM 800.
As promised, it was a very windy day today. Meteorologist Gary Archibald joins me now for that final look at weekend weather.
I think the weekend's going to be sunny, Michelle, and actually pleasant, low 20s, comfortable like today. And thankfully, the winds will subside. And today, by the way, was still a seasonal day. We were in that low 20 mark. I think by early next week, Monday, Tuesday, our average high will be about 23. And as you look at the next 7 days, the average is about 23, almost 24. So we're going to be okay in terms of the temperatures. And then add to it, we're looking at fair weather dominating. Lots of sunshine between now and Friday of next week. If we see any clouds, and if they do produce any rainfall, we're not anticipating a huge event. I think it's going to be lovely.
It does look lovely. There's a lot of sun in that 7-day there. All right, Gary, thank you. Also joining me tonight are Robert Lothian. Robert, what do you have for us tonight at 11?
Yeah, Michelle, we have some new figures that have recently come out from the Windsor-Essex County Association of Realtors, and they're painting just a better picture about our housing market. Now, after a strong start to the summer that saw some increases in terms of sales in July, there was a dip by about 7% last month. We'll take a look at these conditions as well as who they favor tonight at 11.
All right, thanks so much, Robert. I'll be here with you as well tonight in that newscast. And I'm really excited about this story. I'm so glad we covered this. For nearly 2 weeks, families staying at Windsor's Ronald McDonald House have been treated to something special. Homemade meals prepared by some unexpected chefs. Windsor firefighters trading in their bunker gear for aprons. Our Robert Lothian shows us why you can never have too many cooks in this kitchen.
Trading in a lifetime of fighting fires for a night of halting hunger. Former Windsor fire brass put their cooking skills to the test.
We'll hold our own. We have some of the best cooks that the newer cooks learned from in the kitchen today.
The beneficiaries are the 5 families staying at the Ronald McDonald House, Windsor.
We deal with people in their absolute worst moments, so any chance we can make their days better, we try.
This site inside the Windsor Regional Hospital Met Campus helps families with children admitted for medical care. For nearly 2 weeks, members of Windsor Fire have been taking turns bringing groceries and making dinners.
I only thought I was going to do a short cooking blitz, 3 days, cool. That lasted about 20 minutes, and then my phone didn't stop blowing up for guys asking, hey, when are you going to add more days?
Scapanello says food raises spirits and brings people together, a power Windsor Fire members don't take for granted.
A lot of our membership and firefighters from the floor have actually used the facilities here, whether they were guests themselves when they had children in the NICU, let's say, or just family members kind of experiencing what the families here are experiencing as well.
Last year, the Windsor RMHC helped 85 families with overnight stays, plus countless other families through different programming.
We are full right now, and it's been pretty consistently full. Once we have a family checking out, a family checks in pretty quickly.
Porritt says they're always in need of volunteers to make dinners. For Windsor Fire, they're already planning their return next year.
Put some smiles on faces and give them some firehouse cooked meals.
Robert Lothian, CTV News, Windsor.
Yeah, I love that story. Great job. And I love the shirts that they were wearing, off-duty firefighters supporting our community. I think that's so great that they gave back.
Absolutely. Michelle and I didn't have a chance to try it, but just by the smell, I can tell good firefighters, great cooks.
And that's what you need when you're in the hospital and your child isn't well or they're injured. You just want to step away from that medical vibe just for a minute, you know? So great story. I'm so glad you went to that. Thank you so much. Well, do you love a good scare? Some people do, some people don't. Don't miss out on AM 800's first ever Fright Night.
Yeah, 2 free haunted houses 1 week from today.
And that's Friday, September the 12th at Scarehouse Windsor. Bring a donation and register now.
And on behalf of our dedicated team here at CTV News Windsor, thank you so much for watching.
For updates throughout the evening, go to ctvnewswindsor.ca.
You'll find our late local newscast right here after the football game.
Good night.